In the state of Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga, sits the remnants of the Hales Bar Dam, which at the time of its construction was touted as the greatest celebration that Chattanooga has ever seen. However, its construction on the Tennessee River was not without controversy, for the site on which it was chosen to sit and the waters which it was constructed to restrict were considered sacred to Native Americans. So much so that in 1775, after a large tract of Cherokee land was sold in the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals, Cherokee chief Dragging Canoe was said to have cursed the land where the dam sits as uninhabitable for anyone who settled in the area. Despite the objections and the curse, construction began in 1905 at the prompting of Joe Con Guild, an engineer from Chattanooga. The vision was a privately funded dam, which would be managed by the government in exchange for the rights to the hydroelectric power. Slated to be completed in 1909, setbacks due to poor limestone foundation and construction issues pushed the completion to 1913. Upon completion, the Hales Bar Dam was the first multi-purpose hydroelectric dam in the world to be built on a navigable waterway, and its purpose was to improve navigation and to provide power to Chattanooga. After its completion, the dam was riddled with cracks, leaks, and flooding, which prompted millions of dollars to be spent trying to contain the damage. In 1939, the Tennessee Valley Authority gained the rights to the Hales Bar Dam, and in 1968 it was decided that the dam would be demolished and another built 6.5 miles downstream. Today, little remains of the dam that was once 1/2 mile in length. The spillway was removed so that what remains no longer impedes navigation on the water. Large open rooms and offices that once held workers now sit only as silent reminders of the activity that used to take place. The cavernous room that once held turbines is now empty and is used for storage. And long dark tunnels once used by workers and in some cases children who use the tunnels to get to school are still lined with words of safety and caution, with the memories of the once operational dam literally etched into the walls. Although vestiges of the past remain, today the Hales Bar Dam is known for its very haunting present. For while the dam failed in holding back the waters of the Tennessee River, it seems that its walls now hold numerous spirits. It is because of this reputation that the investigators of Soul Sisters Paranormal traveled to Tennessee to determine for ourselves if the Hales Bar Dam really is haunted. Upon our arrival at the Hales Bar Dam, it was quickly apparent that this would be unlike any other location that we have visited. Before we began our investigation, we were met by tour directors Jeff and Vicky, who gave us a detailed tour of the dam, outlining its history and the various accounts of paranormal activity throughout all areas of the building. We were shown tunnels, where voices, including those of children, have been heard and dark apparitions have been seen darting through the shadows. We were then shown the second story of the building that held offices, conference rooms, and bathrooms. It is in this area that the spirits of a man and a teenage girl are said to reside. And finally, Jeff and Vicky showed us a large warehouse-like room off of the tunnel system, which is reported to be inhabited by the spirits of a young child and various other male entities. Armed with the information that Jeff and Vicky conveyed, we knew that we would be using every piece of equipment in our arsenal, and we promptly got to work setting up cameras, voice recorders, and trigger items throughout the dam. For example, in the large room known as Building Number 2, we decided to leave a voice recorder and a stationary night vision video camera to run throughout the night in an attempt to capture any apparition that may be present. We also set up 4 cameras inside of the cavernous room that used to hold the turbines, again in an attempt to capture any of the shadow figures that are reported to roam in this location. Because the second story is reported to be extremely active with paranormal activity, we set up 4 cameras in this area to cover rooms, stairways, and even the bathroom, which is reported to house a male spirit. We also had 3 cameras set up to cover the tunnels that run through the dam, including the junction area where the tunnels converge. After all of our stationary equipment was in place, and with the sun setting over the water, it was time to start our investigation of the Hales Bar Dam. With 4 Soul Sisters investigators present this night, and each of us armed with various pieces of handheld equipment, we decided to split up into 2 teams in order to conduct EVP sessions in an attempt to get any spirits to communicate with us. Michelle and Cara started their investigation on the 2nd floor, with EVP sessions in various rooms. They then continued up to the 3rd floor, while Jenny and I decided to start investigating in the tunnels.
Can you please give us your name? What do we tell people who don't believe you're here?
After a couple of hours of investigating in groups of 2, the 4 of us decided to spend the rest of the evening investigating as an entire group. We conducted EVP sessions and flashlight sessions in building number 2. We spent time in the tunnels, again conducting EVP sessions and using a thermal imaging camera in an attempt to detect any apparitions. And finally, we spent a considerable amount of time on the 2nd level in an attempt to communicate with the teenage spirit of Linda and the male entity who is reported to inhabit the bathroom on this level. Our investigation of the Hales Bar Dam was a unique and interesting experience. With large rooms and dark tunnels, this was a location that enabled us to deploy all of our equipment and to use different techniques in our attempt to capture evidence of the paranormal. As we explored the building that night, we had few personal experiences, such as thinking we heard names being called and seeing black shadows in the various rooms. It wasn't until we reviewed all of the audio and video footage from that night that our assumptions of paranormal activity were, in our minds, confirmed. The large warehouse-type room known as Building 2 was the location of several of the EVPs that we captured that night. The room can only be accessed by one tunnel, and after completing an EVP session in that room, we exited the room via that tunnel. Although you can hear us walking away, the voice recorder that we left in the room captured a male voice saying what we believe is my name, Christy. As a reminder, all Soul Sister investigators are female, and there were no males present in the dam at this time. We will play this clip 3 times so that you may clearly hear it. Another EVP that we captured in building number 2 was also captured on the stationary voice recorder in the room, and it is also the name of a Soul Sisters investigator present that night. This EVP was captured early in the evening during our setup of equipment. You can hear us talking in the background when a voice that is unknown to us whispers the name Cara. Again, we will play this clip 3 times so that you may clearly hear it.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The whispering of names seemed to be a theme throughout the night, as another one was spoken in building number 2. Rather than the name of an investigator, however, this EVP was a name given in direct response to Jenny's questions during an EVP session. While Jenny and I were in the tunnel asking questions, a male voice was captured on the stationary voice recorder saying what we believe is Hank. The final EVP that we captured in building number 2 was captured on a voice recorder that Michelle was holding while she and Kara investigated in the room. Although we have amplified the volume, we admit that this whisper is hard to decipher due to its soft nature and the ambient static. However, after Michelle's question about why a spirit would remain at the dam, we hear what we believe is a child saying, "I'm stuck."
I would love to know why you're still here. Why are you still here at the dam? Why haven't you gone on? I would love to know why you're still here. Why are you still here at the dam? Why haven't you gone on? I would love to know why you're still here. Why are you still here at the dam? Why haven't you gone on?
The EVPs from building number 2 were not the only ones that we captured that night. It appears that the second level of the dam also has its share of entities willing to make their presence known. The EVP in the following clip was captured when Michelle and Kara were conducting their initial sweep of the area. As Michelle enters the room, known to be inhabited by a teenage spirit known as Linda, Michelle announces her entry into the room by saying, "Linda." The voice recorder that we left stationary in the room has a very clear response to Michelle's question.
Linda? Linda? Linda?
In addition to the EVP response, another interesting piece of footage that we captured that night was caught on the stationary night vision video camera that we left to run inside of Linda's room. As you watch, you will see a mist quickly move from right to left through the room. This camera, in addition to 7 others running on the 2nd and 3rd floors that night, ran for almost 7 hours, and this is the only instance of mist caught on any of those cameras. We are unsure as to what would cause this mist to float through the room, but it was interesting enough to us that we decided to include it as evidence. At one point during our investigation, we were inside of the 2nd-story bathroom conducting an EVP session. It is reported that a male spirit inhabits this area, and while his name was not known, he has been known to appear as an apparition in the hallway in the bathroom. At one point, I asked, "What is your name, sir?" And in that moment, I thought I heard the name Isaac. Upon review of the voice recorder, however, the name that was actually said was Alex.
What's your name, sir? I swear to God, I just heard Isaac. What's your name, sir? What's your name, sir?
The final piece of evidence that we captured was again captured on a stationary night vision video camera. This camera was set up in the bathroom where the name Alex was uttered. During our investigation, we used glowing balloons as trigger items. These balloons are weighed down with a light inside, which means that it should not move on its own. We asked any entity present to move the balloons if able, and we left one of these balloons unattended in the bathroom. This is an interior room without windows and with no airflow. Additionally, this balloon sat stationary for almost an hour before it moves, and after it moves, it stays stationary for another 30 minutes when we return to the area. We have no explanation as to why this balloon moved. Just outside of Chattanooga sits the remnants of a dam that was heralded as an achievement at the time of its opening. But during its lifespan, it became known more for its failures than for its ability to fully contain the waters of the Tennessee River. Although it was demolished in 1968, the powerhouse building still stands. And within the walls, which were constructed to harness energy, it seems that energy of the paranormal variety remains. And although the Cherokee were said to have cursed the land as uninhabitable, perhaps that curse only extended to the living, for it seems that spirits are very much settled inside the remains of the Hales Bar Dam.